Hello everyone and welcome back to Stylish Naija YouTube channel. I want to say thank you to all of our subscribers. Thank you all for subscribing to our YouTube channel. Thank you for your love and for your support. I really appreciate each and every one of you that have subscribed to Stylish Naija YouTube channel. Okay guys, in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to cut this dress. So you can see it is an A-line dress with an asymmetric attachment to it. So it's just a simple dress. So that's what I'm going to show you how to cut today, in case you are wondering how it is being done. Okay, so if you are new to the channel, you are highly and very welcome. If you have not subscribed, please hit on the subscribe button and then hit on the bell also to get an update whenever I upload a new video. So if you want to register for our online classes, you can see my number scrolling through the screen like this. So you can send me a message on WhatsApp and then I'll give you the details of the classes that are available. Okay, so for this kind of dress, if you are a beginner and you want to do this, I would advise for you to cut it on a pattern paper first before adding it to your fabric. But if you are somebody that can sew already, you can decide to cut. If you have enough fabric, you can decide to cut on your actual fabric and then you separate the yoke part from it and then transfer it into a different fabric. So I'm going to go ahead now, fold my fabric. I'm going to be folding my fabric normally, so I'm just going to be creating the A-line dress. So for A-line dresses, you can actually fold at an angle, or you can still fold your fabric straight and then still create out your style. So if you have been following me for a while, you notice that I normally use the different patterns of cutting an A-line dress. So for this, we're going to be folding normally and then we'll shape out the A-line from it. So because I don't want it to be too big. So I'll just go ahead now, fold my fabric. Okay, so I folded my fabric into two. So you've noticed I just folded it into two. So I'm going to use where you are going to fold, you use the biggest part of your measurement, which is the down. So I folded the down part at 18 inches. So at the end of the day, I'm going to be making it of maybe like 15 inches. So and then I have some couple of lines here. So the first line I have here is my bust point line, and then my under bust, and then my full length. So the full length is 30 inches. So you use your own applicable measurement, that's from your shoulder to your bust point and then under bust and then full length. So we're going to go ahead, we'll measure. So the first thing I'm going to measure, I'll measure my shoulder measurement. So for the shoulder, I'm making use of 13 inches, which is, when you divide 13 into 2, you are going to have 6.5. This is 6.5. I'll add half of an inch for stitching allowance. And then from those points, I'm just going to go ahead. I'll mark half of my armhole measurements, which is 14. So you divide it into 2. You can do that. Or if it's somebody that is big, you can just use 9 inches. So from this point, I'll just create my armhole like this. So you just make a beautiful slant like this. So you can measure it, start from this point. Just make sure it's not more than 1.5. And then you curve it out. And then we're going to add the bust measurement. So for the bust measurement, I'm going to be making use of 40 inches. So you divide 40 into, because it is a free dress, you divide 40 into 4, you have 10 inches. So I'll go ahead, I'll just add 1 inch for allowance. So from this point, I'm just going to come like this. So since it is an A-line dress, that's the farthest that you will go. So from this point, we're going to open it up. So like I said, this is a different pattern. So from this point, the next thing we're going to measure now, you're just going to take what you have from this point and then you bring it down to this part. Just add 1 inch to it. And then from this point, you mark it like this. And then for the down part of your dress, you are going to determine how wide you want it to be. How wide you want it to be. So you can do 15, you can do 16. So it depends on what you want. So make sure you add your seam allowance. And then from this point, I'll go ahead, I'll use my straight ruler like this. And then I'll create out my curve. So you can see this is a very simple way of making an A-line dress. And if you don't have enough fabric, without folding at an angle. So I'll go ahead now. I'm going to cut this out. Okay, before I cut this out, let's add our neckline. Then cut out the yoke. So for the neckline, so for this, I'm just going to be cutting only the front of the dress. So you use the front to cut the back. I'm just making this for the sake of the tutorial. So for the neckline, I'm going to use 3 inches width. So this is 3 inches width. So I hope you can see. So I use 3 inches width like this. And then for the depth of the neckline, I'm going to go ahead. I'll make use of about 3 inches. That's 3 by 3. I'll mark it like this. And then you remember I create my shoulder slope. So for the slope, I'll use about 1 inch for my shoulder slope. So just slope it into the neckline point like this. So the next thing, if you notice, the dress, it actually has a yoke. So for that yoke, what you're going to do before you cut out the neckline, there's no point cutting out the neckline. So we're going to measure the yoke. So it depends on how deep. If you notice, this yoke is staying on top of, even almost above the chest line. And most times, chest line measurement is usually 8 inches. So what we're going to do for this yoke, we're going to be making use of 7 inches or 7.5 inches. So I'll just make use of about 7 inches, and then I'll mark it from this point like this and then slope it into this point. So I'm going to cut this part out. This is going to be my yoke. And then when I'm transferring this yoke on my fabric, I'm going to increase the length by 1 inch. So please note. So I'll go ahead, I'll cut out what I have now. And then I'll cut out the yoke. Excuse me. So you can see what I have. So you can see how it is looking beautiful. So the next thing we're going to cut now, we're going to cut out the asymmetric part of this dress. Okay guys, so now we're going to cut the other part. So since we're not making use of a pattern, we're making use of our free hand and our normal fabric. So this is the first part, that's the normal part folded into two. So you are going to determine where you want it, how much into the other part you want it to get to. So mine, I think I'm just going to come from the side like this, just so let it be just above the middle. So this is the center part, let it just pass through the middle to, so I'm just going to come in with about 4 inches. So I'm going to have like this. So once I have where, so that the other flap, that's the asymmetric part, is going to come from this point to this point. So you are just going to take that point and then you are going to fold it in like this. So you fold it and then you place it on the other fabric. So my fabric is not enough on that side, so I need to readjust my fabric. Okay guys, so I'm just going to go over it again. So this is where I want my cut to get to. So you fold that part inwards. So it is that part that you folded in, that's the longer part. So this side, so I'm just going to mark it so you can see it. So this side is my gown, that's the A line part of my gown. So you're going to now determine how long do you want this part to be, that's the longer part. So that you will determine by yourself. It does not have any fixed measurement. So for this, I'm just going to come to about, let's use about 9 inches. So this is 9 inches. So this 9 inches, I'm just going to rule a straight line from the side of my gown like this to this point. And then from this point, I'm going to blend it into the end of my gown on this other side. So I hope you can see it. So I'll just blend it like that. So you see, that is how simple and easy it is. So I'm going to go ahead now. I would cut out. So I'm going to go ahead now, open this up now, and then I'll take this like this, and then I'll place it here like this. So you can see how beautiful it is looking, guys. So you can see, so you just place it like this. So you make sure that all of the sides they align, and then you see this part is looking so beautiful. So this is the only part you are going to stitch here. So for the yoke now, we're going to cut out our yoke right now. Okay, so when you open up, this is what you are going to have. So I'm going to take this now. So you make sure you just place it like this on the side. So you make sure that the side seam. So that was why we made sure that the side seam that they match. And then you see this part that is looking so beautiful. So the next thing I'm going to do now, I'm going to cut out the yoke of the dress. Okay, so for the yoke, so like I said, you add as much as 1 inch to the down part, and then you place the cut out part on your fabric and then cut out. So don't make use of what you cut out initially. If you make, it's going to truncate the whole fabric. So you must transfer, even if you are using the same fabric, the yoke must be transferred into another fabric. So please just note. Okay, guys, so at the end of the day, so you can see how our gown is looking like. So it actually came out really beautiful. So thank you, guys. So I just made this for the sake of the illustration, or for the sake of the tutorial rather. So if you find this video helpful, please hit on the like button to make me know you appreciate what I did. And if you have not subscribed, please subscribe to Stylish Naija YouTube channel. Thank you so much. I'll see you in my next video. God bless you.